I think every serious woodworker imagines that someday they'll build their dream workbench. For me, that dream started at Christmas in 2003 when my wife gave me this Tools and Shops issue of Fine Woodworking in my stocking, and my big gift that year was this face vise. Well, the cost of the material for building a workbench like this is a bit daunting, so that vise was stored in my shop for about 10 years before I finally got around to building the bench. So if you're dreaming about building yours, be patient, you'll get there. In this video, I'll give you a quick tour of the workbench in action, and then I'll show a bit of a photo story of the construction project. So in this video, I wanted to go into a little bit more detail on the design, construction, and use of my workbench, as well as the construction of the tool cabinet that's over the workbench and the small cabinet that's under the workbench. I will give you the construction details as kind of a photo story, since I started YouTubing long after I built this workbench, so I'll go back to photo records. It's based on a design from Fine Woodworking. I'll go into that in more detail when I go through the construction methods. But for now, let's just walk you through the workbench in use. The workbench is a 2.5-inch thick solid maple top. The maple comes from my uncle's farm in southern Ontario. It's mostly pieced together. I have one big chunk in the center and then a series of laminations that were glued together. Obviously it has a front apron, has a face vise that's a quick release, and an end vise that's the Lee Valley Veritas twin screw vise. I have a series of bench dog holes. I have 3 rows, 9 inches apart along the long axis of the bench, and there are dog holes, 3/4 inch thick dog holes every 6 inches along the bench, and then a set of 2 that are 6 inches apart that are along the axis of the face vise. In the dog holes, I use a series of homemade, just maple turned on the lathe bench dogs. They come in very handy in multiple uses. The face vise is a quick release vise that my wife bought me, I think 10 years before I finally got around to building this workbench. I like the quick action of the vise. I use that vise all the time. Actually, I would say I tend to use this vise more than the twin screw vise on this end, just because I like the face vise. It's handy for holding small boards, for longer boards. I have a series of bench dog holes along the front apron, which come in handy for putting in these Gramercy holdfasts. And for example, if I want to plane the edge of a board, I can knock those holdfasts in, knock them out by hitting on the base, and go the right direction on the wrong way on this one. So again, if I wanted to do an operation like playing along the edge of a board. So with the board now solidly clamped in the face vise, obviously I have my planes handy here. For edge joining operations, if I want to plane the face of a long board, I can use the series of bench dogs that are along the axis of the bench, clamp it in the end of this twin screw vise, and then again other times I might use these holdfasts to clamp a board to the bench top for one reason or another. Again, a couple of taps and things are down nice and solid. Tap on the back of the holdfast, loosens them up. When I talk about the construction of the bench, I will of course mention that mine differs from the one in Fine Woodworking, that I do have a tool tray on the back. I find it handy in use. I like it. I realize that's a matter of personal preference. And I guess the last little tidbit about the bench in operation is I don't often use it, but sometimes it's handy to use this mechanical vise, and I just clamp it in the jaws, the face vise on the bench, and then I use it on its own. I like that I can remove it, get it out of the way when I need to. The storage under the bench isn't fancy. It was 2 simple boxes. Again, I'll show you the Fine Woodworking article I based that idea on. Simple plywood boxes. I've just got a simple drawer lock joint, rabbited drawer lock joint, nothing very fancy there. Cherry face frames. I do like the soft close slides that are on the drawers, and I just made the little knobs myself. Not particularly fancy, but I'm happy with it. The cabinet over the bench is not my dream final woodworker showman's showpiece tool cabinet. It's temporary. I figured I should, I don't know, lay it out, try it, live with it for a while before I built the final showpiece. It's not too bad though. I keep my planes handy and a series of tills on the bottom. Obviously I hang hand tools on either door. I have a couple of drawers for small items like pencils and sandpaper discs, with a series of small tools stored on these 2 doors. And I have some of my larger timber framing tools. I haven't really finished fitting out the back of the cabinet. Timber framing tools are just kind of stuck in there for now, as well as some of my, odds and ends of larger planes that are sitting up here on the top. I've just got a little rubber mat up there so that the plane blades don't get damaged. There's the big jointer plane. And you can see that I have not babied the bench top. It gets well used. I just take a cabinet scraper and scrape it off from time to time. I'm probably due to flatten it again sometime soon. The drawers in the cabinet aren't fancy. Simple rabbet joint, false fronts. Again, this wasn't my dream final cabinet. It was just something expedient for now. I'm proud of the workbench. It's the first thing people notice when they walk into the shop, as well as being a very handy tool in day-to-day use.
My dad helped me solve the material problem. He cut a large number of mixed hardwood logs when my uncle was clearing some land on his farm in southern Ontario. We had a sawyer come in to cut the logs into lumber on a portable sawmill. The mill he used was pretty unique. It's a home-built model with 2 circular saws perpendicular to each other, such that the boards come off the saw already edged. The lumber air-dried in Dad's barn for a couple of years before I finally got it home, and after building the addition on our house to create my basement woodshop, I decided it was time to make that dream workbench. I first built the base using some large chunks of ash. The base is strengthened by a series of wedged-through tenons. I cut the tenons on a table saw tenoning jig, and the mortises were cut on my drill press using a large Forstner bit, and I then squared the corners of the mortises by hand using a chisel. With the base assembled, I then glued up the top. The workbench top is all hard maple, and the main part of the top was glued up as a slab 2.5 inches thick, 21 inches wide, and about 6 feet long. I actually made the top in 3 sections so that I could run each section through my jointer and planer before gluing up the full top. The aprons on the sides and ends are 1.5 inches thick by 6 inches wide, and for a couple of pieces I had to piece together some thinner stock in order to build up the material. I then cut dovetails for the ends of the aprons. I cut the tails first using a combination of a tenoning jig and some hand tool work. Cutting the half-blind pins was done by hand. I marked the pins using the existing tails and then cut out the waste with a dovetail saw and cleared it out with a chisel. The front apron is simply glued to the front edge of the bench top. On the end apron, only the front corner is glued in order to allow the bench top to move front to back. The only design change I made from the plans in Fine Woodworking was to include a tool tray in my design. I actually prefer this not just because of the tool tray, but also because this gives you a rear apron. The dovetails at the end of that apron hold the back edges of the end aprons. In the Fine Woodworking design, they had to incorporate some bed bolts in order to do this. With the aprons finished, I was then ready to install the vices. The face vise requires a filler block on the underside of the bench top, and I had to drill 3 holes through both the vise jaw and the front apron. I found I had to shim it a bit to get things to line up during final assembly. That's actually a printout of the Fine Woodworking article being used as a shim. With the face vise installed, it was onto the end vise. I used a twin screw vise that I ordered from Lee Valley. It uses a chain to couple the two drive screws and provides a full width end vise. It took some trial and error to get it fitted, and I installed some guide blocks under the screws to help keep the vise jaw from drooping when it's opened wide. I actually didn't do the final glue up of the aprons until all of the vise hardware was fitted. To accommodate the base of the tool tray, I had to chop away a bit of the top of the base. The tool tray sits in dados in the end and back aprons and is fastened to the underside of the bench using a couple of wood screws that ride in slots in the 1/2-inch plywood panel that I used for the base of the tool tray. With the bench now fully assembled, I flattened the top using a number 7 jointer plane and then sanded and finished with Danish oil. Handles came with the Lee Valley vise, but I had to turn a handle for the face vise on my lathe. I also turned some custom bench dogs, which have 3/4-inch pegs to match the dog holes I drilled in the vise faces, bench top, and front aprons. There you have it, the finished workbench. If you're actually building a workbench yourself, I'm sure I've glossed over some detail. So if you have any questions about my bench or the construction process, don't hesitate to leave a comment and I'll try to answer your questions. Since this video is running a little long, I guess I'll cover the construction of the underbench storage and the tool cabinet in a later video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.